They called her madness. What a convenient lie. Written by the three men who stole her crown. Her husband, her father, and her son. For 46 years, the rightful Queen of Spain was locked away in a windowless room, erased from the world she was born to rule. But was Juana of Castile truly insane? Or was she simply inconvenient? Welcome to the Royal Red. Tonight, let's uncover the silence of Tordesillas. To understand the darkness of Juana's end, we must look at the brightness of her beginning. She was born in Toledo, but her spirit belonged to the Alhambra, the Red Fortress of Granada. She was not born a queen. She was born simply as La Infanta, the title given to a child of Spain who is royal, but not the heir. And what a child she was. Juana was arguably the most intelligent of her sisters. While others played, she studied. She spoke fluent Latin before she was a woman. She played the clavichord. She was sharp, curious, and composed. But in the eyes of her parents, the powerful Catholic monarchs, Isabella and Ferdinand, she was something else. She was a political asset, a piece on a chessboard. Her destiny was supposed to be simple: marry a foreign prince, strengthen an alliance, and live quietly away from the Spanish throne. But history is rarely simple. Tragedy struck the house of Trastamara. First, her brother Juan died. Then, her older sister, Isabella. One by one, the heirs to the throne were taken by sickness and misfortune. And suddenly, the line of succession fell to the third child. It was El Destino, destiny. Juana was no longer just an infanta. She was now La Heredera, the heiress. The crown of Castile, one of the most powerful in the world, was waiting for her. But the crown is heavy, and Juana was never taught how to carry its weight. She was only taught how to be a wife. And so, at age 16, she was sent away. A fleet of ships carried her north, toward cold grey skies, and a husband she had never met. She was sailing toward love, but she was anchoring in tragedy. When Juana arrived in Flanders to meet her husband, the Archduke Philip, the world expected a polite, royal introduction. What they got was fuego, fire. They called him Philip the Handsome. And by all accounts, the attraction was instant. They didn't wait for the official ceremony. They were young, beautiful, and powerful. For Juana, this wasn't just duty. It was obsessive love. But for Philip, Juana was a conquest. And once the conquest was over, his eyes began to wander. Philip was a man who loved pleasure. He took mistresses openly. He ignored his new wife, and Juana, far from home, isolated in a cold court, began to crack. She didn't weep quietly like a good queen. She screamed. She raged. She attacked his mistresses. The court whispered that she was losing her mind. But was it madness? Or was it los celos? Jealousy. Philip saw an opportunity. He realized that a mad wife could be very useful. If she was unfit to rule, who would take her power? He would. He began to lock her in her rooms. He dismissed her Spanish servants. He isolated her from the world, feeding the rumors of her insanity. But fate, again, was cruel. Just as Juana and Philip returned to Spain to claim the throne, Philip played a game of tennis on a hot day. He drank a cup of ice-cold water. Within hours, he was burning with fever. Within days, the handsome traitor was dead. Juana was devastated. She was pregnant, alone, and surrounded by enemies. But the worst betrayal wasn't from her husband. It came from El Traidor, the traitor. And this time, the traitor was her own father. Philip was dead, and Juana did not hide her grief. She refused to let his body be buried in a foreign land. She wanted to take him home to Granada, to the royal crypt, and so began the journey that would seal her fate. She travelled at night, by torchlight, across the freezing plains of Castile. The people whispered that she opened the coffin to kiss his cold lips. They whispered that she was lost to La Locura, madness. But was it madness to mourn? Or was she simply a woman clinging to the only thing she had left? While Juana walked with the dead, the living were plotting. Her father, King Ferdinand, returned. He didn't come to comfort his daughter. He came to take her crown. Ferdinand saw the funeral procession, not as a tragedy, but as a political gift. He told the courts that his daughter was too unstable to rule. He declared himself the administrator of Castile. He took the Queen of Spain and brought her to a small town called Tordesillas. It was a palace, but for Juana, it became El Encierro, the confinement. In 1509, the doors were locked. Juana was told it was for her own good. She was the rightful queen, yet she was forbidden from leaving. She would watch the seasons change through a barred window. Summer to winter, winter to summer. She thought it would be temporary. She didn't know that the doors would not open again for 46 years. Years turned into decades. Ferdinand died. The crown passed to the next generation. Juana's son, Charles, came to Tordesillas. He was now the most powerful man in Europe, the Holy Roman Emperor. Juana, now old and grey, hoped that her son would finally free her, that he would unlock the doors. But Charles did nothing. He saw what his father had seen. If Juana was sane, she was the queen. And if she was the queen, he was not the king. So, the son kept the mother in La Sombra, the shadow. Juana lived in that fortress for nearly half a century. She outlived her husband, her father, and even her mother's legacy. She died in 1555, at the age of 75. History wrote her off as Juana la Loca, the mad queen. But looking back, was she truly mad? Or was she simply surrounded by men? A father, a husband, a son who loved power more than they loved her. She was the Queen of Castile, the Queen of Aragon, the mother of emperors. But in the end, she was the only one who didn't fight for the crown. She only fought for her family, and for that, she paid the ultimate price. She was La Reina Olvidada, the Forgotten Queen. Thank you for listening to The Royal Red. If you enjoy learning through calm storytelling, and if you enjoy history that focuses on people, families, and human choices, you are warmly invited to like this video and subscribe to the channel.